Hi everybody, it's Gretchen again. I'm so sorry. Things crashed and ended our stream, so I'm trying to get going again. I have to get this link to you guys. Bear with me here while I contact everybody with the new link. Not everybody, hopefully everybody will get a notification about the new video, but just in case, I want to make sure I get the link to you. Okay, I see that Lindsay is here. We can see. Oh, good. You could. I just went back to see that you saw my message on the other one. So hopefully, um, okay. I'm just putting a message in the in the old chat, letting everybody know to connect with the new link. Wanted to send an email because I think most people are watching on their computers. Yeah, it is, Lindsay. I know I speak and then I have to wait a couple of seconds or more to get any response. So sometimes that's why, I keep talking and you ask a question and I don't respond for a while because first of all, I have to look up and see it, but there's also that delay. Okay, let's see. Here's Barb, here's Martha, here's Mom. Um, I guess I gotta hope that Judy makes it back too. I'm so sorry about this, guys. I don't know what happened. Things crashed. I don't know if it was my computer or I think it was my computer or I don't know, YouTube. But the problem is when anything disrupts the YouTube stream, I can't actually go back in and just restart it on the same link, which is the frustrating part. I have to start a brand new um, video, I guess, and so it's a brand new link, and so um, it makes things kind of crazy. It's funny because I was going to say something at the beginning of the class, and I was like, "Oh, let's not jinx it," and of course, it happened. I may have to, instead of on YouTube, I may have to start trying to do these on Facebook, but I'm not sure how that works with this camera. Um, and I don't know how everybody feels about that because I know not everybody has a Facebook account, although you don't actually have to have a Facebook account to watch a video live. So I don't know, maybe I'll do a test run and see what happens and see what everybody thinks. But okay, Facebook Live doesn't work for you, Martha. Okay. That's good to know. Um, I've never done a Facebook Live. I've done, a Facebook, room, which is kinda head on with a bunch of different people, but I've never actually streamed, like, a video myself, so Mom, can you just, call Judy and let her know what happened, and she has to go to her email and click on the link to get into the new room. I just wanna make sure she connects. In the meanwhile, if anybody has any questions on anything we've done so far, this is a good time. I am, going to put the top back on my glue so that doesn't continue to dry. Oh, s I will let you know. Oh, okay. She's back. Okay, good. Um, okay, so what we were doing was we were putting the arrows, hi Judy, um, on the onto the card. And so I don't know exactly what you saw, but the first one I put near the bottom of the card, kind of centered on the blue paper. And then I put the other one up a little ways and then shifted to the right a bit. So that's how where the arrows are attached. And then the only other piece we're going to put on with glue is that heart outline. So I'm just going to test my glue here, make sure the tip didn't dry while I left it sitting there while attempting the reconnect. And I'm putting this on the left side of the arrows, kind of fitting it in that space the end of those arrows make. And then the other hearts I'm going to put on with foam tape. So I put them down upside down on my scrap paper here and cut out more um, small pieces of foam tape. They don't all have to be small this time. Did everybody hear the news about the new giraffe at the Seneca Park Zoo? We have a second baby giraffe that was born yesterday. Very exciting. So it's another boy. So we've got, they have, they're half siblings, same father, different mothers. This new one is having a couple of issues with his leg. He's got a splint, but they say it's a pretty common issue and they don't seem too worried about it. So hopefully everything will be okay. So I've gotten to see the first baby, who's a couple months old now, and he's adorable. And I'm looking forward to seeing the second one. But they won't let people see him for a few weeks. Giraffes are actually very skittish, so they like to keep them away from the public until they get a little older. Okay, so the first heart I'm going to put down is this big one with the white dots, and I'm going to put this kind of on the right side of the frame, and I'm going to put the right side over the frame. And then I'm going to put the next biggest one, which is the one that has the stitches around it. And I'm going to put that on the bottom left, and I'm going to put it so that the bottom, the pointy part of the heart, is over the frame. And then the other heart with the polka dots also goes in the frame in that top left corner in that space. And then the last heart, the white one, oops, they're so tiny I keep dropping them, is going to go on top of the arrows. Kind of twisted the opposite direction from that outline heart. Okay, so now we can add our shimmer. And I put the shimmer on the arrows, the outline heart, and the heart with the stitching, and I just put it inside the stitching. This is the part, it's a little more challenging because the outline and the arrows are very skinny. You might want to check, you definitely want to check how much liquid is coming out of your brush, and if it's only a small amount, do the arrows and the outline heart first. And my brush was a little bit dry when I scribbled there, so that's why I'm doing these first. If there's a lot of liquid coming out right away, I'd say go ahead and do the bigger heart first, and then when you use up a lot of that liquid on the bigger area, and hopefully then your brush is a little drier, then go to the smaller pieces. Hopefully that made sense. Of course, more liquid keeps flowing as you work. So if it still gets too wet while you're doing the arrows, just keep using your scrap paper to brush off the excess. Okay. And there we go. And put it aside in a safe spot. Let's see. All right. Next card is the diagonal stripes. The white cardstock, which we will score at 5.5 inches. I put my tools away so I have room to work. Fold it in half. And this is going to be a horizontal, so it'll open this way to the left. And again, we are going to cover the whole surface of the card front. So the first piece we'll put on is this stripe, and man, I don't know about you, but that stripe, it's fine when it's in a smaller area and you know, the other things are around it, but just that piece all by itself makes my eyes go wacky. That's for sure. I don't know if it's just like because it's such a bold color combination, the dark brown um, against the white, but we're going to put this, I'm going to start on the folded side of the card, line up the edge, the short edge, and then what is the top of the card, that cut edge. And in this case, my paper, well, I put it on a little crooked, but my paper is overhanging a little. It is not overhanging so much that I really have to trim it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it to show you. I mean, really, that's how much I cut off this little sliver. So I really wouldn't necessarily be worried about that. The next piece we're going to put on is this beautiful green, which is, I believe this is sage is the color. And I'm putting the adhesive on the textured side of the cardstock, the texture print. The card side itself is smooth and not textured. And again, I'm going to start on the folded edge and along the bottom of the card and line up the edges. And again, my my sage cardstock is just, you can see the dark, I think, it's just a sliver longer than my card. So since I trimmed the other piece, I'm going to trim that piece. If I hadn't trimmed the first piece, it probably would have lined up perfectly without an issue. Okay, so this is our rose gold shimmer trim. So this one does have a perfectly straight edge. So I'm trying to see. Okay, so what I did was I had aligned this, the bottom of the shimmer trim with the top of the sage paper. So I'm going to put it again, the edge there against the fold, and you can see I'm putting it right up against the top of that sage paper and covering up the diagonal stripe. Some of them we put, and I mean, you could put it over the intersection if you want, but that's just where I aligned it. You can, if you wanted less green and more stripe, you could, you know, align it the top edge with the top of the green. And then I just trimmed off the edge there, flush with the edge of the card. Okay, and so this is the, remember I told you that the shimmer trim is rose gold. The glitter paper is desert rose. So they're not quite the same color, but I think they look fine together. And I wanted a little extra glitz on this one. So this is the glitter paper. And like I said, this is stiffer. So that's how you can tell the difference. And this, the paper you have to put your adhesive on. You didn't get the shimmer tape only in this card, Barb, or in other cards? I will certainly send you a piece, and I apologize for that. And then I'm putting adhesive on the white rectangle. And on this, I'm putting a little extra adhesive on it because this is going to stick to the glitter paper, and sometimes, like I was saying before, um, the glitter paper has a little extra texture to it, so um, you want a little extra sticking power there, and I'm gonna go ahead and burnish that down and make sure it really does stick. Okay, only in this one. If there's another one you find towards the end, definitely let me know, but I will send you a strip of this paper. In the meantime, I know you can't complete the card, but you could, go ahead and put your white um, cardstock on top of your uh, glitter paper here, and then you'll be able to attach your die cuts too. And then you'll just have to, then you'll just have that strip of shimmer to add, and then, add this piece on top of that. Um, we're going to put this other diagonal strip. Now this piece is smaller, so it doesn't drive my eyes as quite as crazy. But I'm going to put this on the inside. And that's 1.5 inches from the bottom. Just say, if you don't like this look, you want to decorate the inside and you're afraid you won't have enough room, you can always put it on this side too. And I am gonna start on the left side here because I want the strip to start just to the right of that fold mark. Because you don't want it to be on that fold, because otherwise it'll the end will get munged when you try to close the card. And it is a bit long. If you had put it on the front, it probably would have been perfect, but because you have to put it to the right of that score line, a little bit overhangs. So I'm going to trim that off. I'd rather give you a piece that's slightly long than slightly short. All right, so that's, the inside of the card. That's it. And now we're going to do our die cuts. So we are going to use, I'm not on camera. We're going to use this flower that's in the bottom middle. It's just to the right of the plaid. And then we have two kind of branches. And one of them in here is the top right. It's just, get some more white back there. It's just below those hearts in the top right. So we'll carefully punch that out. Oh, that came out a lot easier than I expected. And then we're gonna do way down here, above the sweet, these two little solid branches here, they're exactly the same, so just punch out one of them. And hearts and butterflies. Okay, so the butterfly is, oh, now the sweet is coming out, so I'm taking the sweet out. Is between that flower we just took and the big heart. It's sideways. Got too much stuff on my desk, you guys can't see anything. The little tiny heart has the dots on it, so up in this top left corner with the dots, in the top right corner of the dots is the little tiny heart. And then we've got one more small heart, which is this one right here. It's in the V of the big heart with the love on it. Okay. So the flower and the two branches are going to go on flat. You kind of really have no choice but to glue them flat. The pieces that are just outlined. There's no way you're getting foam tape on those, that's for sure. And then the two hearts and the butterfly will go on with foam tape. So I put the flower on first, and I have it so, let's see how to describe it. These fatter kind of petals are on the top, and see these two really skinnier ones are like the bottom left, because I have it, see, I have it attached, kind of angled. So those two skinny ones are tilted bottom left, like 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock, let's say. And then the fat ones are to the top. So I'm going to turn it upside down from that. And add glue, being careful, trying not to move the die cut around on my scrap paper. Lift it straight up, and I'm putting it in the bottom right corner of that white rectangle. And then I'm going to put the open leaves, and I have it so that the stem is to the right, and it's kind of like the one that sticks out the most at the top is there to the left. So I have that the right way. Turn it over. If you get yours down differently than I have mine, nobody's going to know. It's all okay. And then I'm going to put that in the top, kind of in the top left corner of that white square. And the stem is going to lay on top of the flower a little bit. If that bothered you, you could, I don't have my teeny tiny scissors in here because I'm working on another project in another space. But you could trim it. I trimmed it a little short there, but it doesn't matter. But if that overlap, it's overlapped on my sample card here. But if that bothered you, you could trim it. And then we're going to the solid branch, and I'll lay it down so the stem is up to the right, and the farthest out leaf is to the bottom left. I tell you, it's really hard to describe these things, apparently. Probably shouldn't be, but all right. And I'm going to put this in the bottom left corner of the white triangle, and again the stem is going to lay on top of the flower a little bit. All right, and now I'm going to put foam tape on my hearts and butterfly. Although honestly, I don't know why I decided to. This is a teeny tiny heart. You might want to glue it flat. but I guess I managed to do it on the sample, so I can do it again. Some people, oh, I'm missing one. Well, let's put these on and then we'll get the other one. Some people like this tiny, tiny detail work and other people don't. So certainly won't hold it against you if you don't. Okay, so I'm gonna put my butterfly kind of over that shimmer trim a bit. And then the bigger heart, if you can call it a bigger heart, will go below that to the left. And then the tiniest heart will go to the right. And then we're going to go back to our die cut sheet and, oh, it's on the left hand side here, this little banner with the white heart in it. And that's going to get foam tape on it too. Well, we could use huge pieces of foam tape on this one, right? And this is going to go, you're going to align the top of the banner with the top of the card. I'm just going to turn it so I can see that top a little better. And I'm centering it kind of between the right edge of the card and the right edge of the glitter paper. So just basically centered in that space there. And now we can add our shimmer. And I am going to add the shimmer brush to the two hearts and the butterfly, and that's it. You could always add it to your flower too if you wanted to. I like the contrast being some of them shimmer and some of them not, but obviously I do like the glitz a bit, so sometimes I use it a lot. Okay. I'm running out of safe spaces to put my cards. I don't know about you guys. Okay. Move these out of the way a bit so I'll get room for another card. Two more to go. Our little delay in the middle kind of set us back a little. Sorry about that. So this is our next card. This was a little, this paper was a little different with the white stripes. Different from the, the other papers in the collection I mean. So I guess this one probably has the most pieces to it. All right. So we're going to guess what? Score our card at 5.5 inches. Fold it in half. And this piece, the white striped piece, should be 1/4 inch smaller than your card. So when you center it on the front of your card, you'll have 1/8 inch border all the way around. And then you have a white strip. It's you have 2 white strips of cardstock. One is slightly wider than the other. You're going to use the wider strip. And you're going to put this about 1/4 inch in from the edge of the white striped paper on the right side of the card. And it should be, whoops, the full height of the card. Okay, Martha, thanks so much for coming. Just make note that there will be 2 videos for the class, so you'll need the part 2. I will send out an email at the end that has the link so you don't have any trouble finding it. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks so much. And then next we'll put down the green, and again, I want the brush side to show. And we're going to center it left and right. Let me just confirm. And you're going to put it down about an inch from the top of the card. So you want the skinnier way left to right, the longer way top to bottom. I know it's not a huge difference. So you're going to center it on the card left to right, about an inch from the top of the card. We've got our rose gold shimmer trim. We're going to put that below the sage panel. So the top of the shimmer trim is going to line up with the bottom of the piece of sage paper. And I'm going to trim off the edge. My one edge was straight, which is why I lined it up with the edge of the card, unlike previously when I cut off both sides. Okay, now we'll do the inside before we get to our die cuts. And this will be the skinnier strip of white cardstock. And we're going to attach this to the right side of the card, about 1/4 inch in from the edge. I'm going to start again right below that fold. I want the top of the strip to be right below that fold. And come down, and again, it's because we're below that fold line, it's a little long. So I'm just going to trim that flush with the bottom edge of the card. And then I have this little tiny strip of the stripe, so I'm going to put that on top. Now it's barely a 1/4 of an inch wide. So when I put my 1/4 inch tape on it, I don't know. Can you see that shine there? That's the tape. I had it for a second. Nope. But anyway, the tape overhangs the edges. Now this tape, it's easy if I run my oh good, you did see it. If I run my fingers along the edges like this, I can kind of push the edges of that tape there to the back of this strip. So if you're able to go on straight, that's a great way to do it. Your other option would be to either use a bead of glue or to use like an 1/8 inch wide strip of tape, like on a roll, like I used earlier. Um, the other thing is sometimes it depends on the nature of your tape. You can put it down and kind of rub away any excess that are on the edges. This tape, one of the reasons I like this tape so much is that it sticks really well, but it's forgiving. So like if I've got some tape coming off the side, I can just use my fingers like this and it kind of rolls up kind of like rubber cement almost, and you can wipe it away. Um, so anyway, I attached that about 1/8 of an inch from the left edge of the white strip right on top of that strip. And I left, like 1/8 of an inch at the top and the bottom. All right. Now we got a whole bunch of die cuts for this one. So we are going to, in the middle here, there's this kind of, I would call this a daisy almost. I know it doesn't have enough petals for a daisy, but a drawn daisy, that's what I picture. So with the white outline, and then to the left of that, kind of near the left edge, right underneath the striped area, there's this kind of salad flower with the white lines on it. We're going to use that one, the bigger one. And then where's the other one? Oh, it's dangling. That's why I don't see it. Right on the left edge here, below the banner, above that scallop circle, there's the little 5-petaled flower with the white outline. So those are the 3 flowers. Back down here in the plaid area, to the right of the square, there's the little banner with the point at the end. We're going to use that. Leaves. Going back up here, one of these leaves, it doesn't matter, between the flowers here, it's got white lines on half of the leaf. We'll use that. On the right hand side here, between the heart banner and the heart circle, there's these 2 tiny little leaves, outlines. With 3 little leaves on each. We're going to use both of those. And then, down to the bottom right where the big flower outline was that we used on the second card, there's this, like, it kind of looks like an oak leaf. Open design. We're going to use that one. And then at the very top here, we're going to use this banner that says happy in it. All right, so those, I think, are all our die cuts. And the first thing we're going to do, make sure we have them all, is on the happy banner is punch out the letters if they aren't already falling out. Now, we aren't going to use the letters, but if you want to save them to use them on another project, you are welcome to do so. Okay, and you should have a another piece of white cardstock. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue this onto the piece of white cardstock. Now, what I'm going to do, everybody probably has a different size piece. I'm actually going to glue it this way because it's easier for me to cut that out. Basically, you just need to have the white behind the letters. You know, here on the card, you can see that the white is behind the letter, so you can actually see what it says. So you just kind of have to have enough white back there to cover that spacing, and you know, enough area to put glue on that it's going to stick. So I'm putting glue between each of the letters, and then I'm putting a little bit on the outside of the H and a little bit on the outside of the Y. And then I'm going to line up the bottom edge of the banner with this strip. Now, like I said, everybody's got a different size piece of white cardstock because I just cut a bunch of scrap pieces. So I apologize if it doesn't work out quite, you know, it could be longer. If you have to go the other way and then, you know, just cut out the whole banner, that works too. I am going to, now that I know it's attached, I hope you saw that I turned it upside down and I rubbed, you know, I rubbed the white into it to make sure the glue adhered well. And now I'm just going to trim that white cardstock. So whatever white cardstock you have hanging on the outside of the banner, trim that off. And now you can read the happy. We're also going to put white cardstock behind this banner. And you could see I did that because, again, if I had put this right onto the brown card and the brown and white striped paper, it wouldn't have shown up as well. But having that white outline around it gives it a little more emphasis. So I am going to put glue on the back of my banner. And actually, this piece is big enough that you could probably use your glue gun to add adhesive on it. And the only side we're not gonna have white around is the top. So I went ahead, I'm just turning it upside down, pressing again. I went ahead and aligned the top of the banner with one edge of my white cardstock. And you can see on the left side here, I glued it down so there's only about 1/8 of an inch border on that side. That just is a shortcut because that's now one side I don't have to cut. But I am going to cut around the other 3 sides that same approximate 1/8 inch border. So I'm just taking my scissors 1/8 of an inch away from the edges of the banner and cutting around on the white cardstock. Now, if you feel more comfortable, you can use an X-Acto knife to do that. Luckily, I probably would if the piece was bigger, but it's short enough that you can cut a relatively straight line with the scissors. Sorry. Okay, and now we can start attaching all our die cuts here. And go ahead and do the 2 banners first. They get foam tape. Everything else is going to get glued flat. So okay, so got my happy banner here, and I am going to attach that in the bottom right. I'm going to line up the points on the right side with the edge of the striped paper, and I'm centering it in the space of the striped paper. So below the shimmer trim here and the bottom edge of the striped paper, I'm just going to center it in that space. And then this top banner here, I am aligning it with the top edge of the card, which is why I didn't put white card stock around the top edge, because I want it right on that top edge of the card, about 1/4 of an inch to the right of the left edge of the striped paper. So that top point is right there near the top of that sage paper. All right, and everything else is going to be glued down. And I'm going to put, I'm actually going to put the biggest leaf, the one with the white spines on one side. I'm going to put that down first, because I want it underneath. I want all the leaves to be underneath the flowers. So I'm going to put this in the top left corner. Actually, I kind of turned that a little too much. Okay, so like that. And I mean, if you feel more comfortable, you can lay out all your flowers first, your flowers and your leaves, which of course is what I did when I was designing the card. But now that I have the sample in front of me, I can see where I put them. All right, so I am putting the big flower, in the top right corner. And I put it so like one of the V's, kind of the V that is formed by 2 of the petals, is on top of that leaf. And you can see that the spine of the leaf kind of goes right into that V. All right, and so I'm going to put these 2 little tiny leaf clusters on next with the 3 little leaves. You know, I didn't mention this before, but some people might have more luck picking these things up with tweezers. I I sometimes fumble with tweezers, so I don't bother, but it might work for you if you're having trouble picking them up with your fingers. So I'm putting it there down in the bottom in the right near the edge there. It's about 3/8 of an inch up from the bottom edge of the green paper. And then I'm going to do the other one, and I'm going to put this one down a little bit on top of the first one. I'm kind of overlapping the one edge of each cluster. So, you know, that one edge is just overlapping on the two. If you don't get it right on top, right next to it is fine. And we're going to use this solid 5 petal flower with these leaves. And again, I'm going to overlap the flower a little bit so that part of the petal is on top of the leaves. But it doesn't really matter how it overlaps. Just, I want it to look like, you know, the leaves are behind the flower. So that's the look I'm going for. And then this open oak leaf is the last one. And I'm going to put this on the left side, turned a little, but kind of pointing down. And this last solid flower will go next to it and overlapping just the tip of the leaf. Or actually, I'm going to overlap a little more than I thought, just because of where I put the leaf. I didn't have as much much room for the flower, so it was entirely on the green paper. So I guess on this one, on my sample, my leaf was just a little bit higher, but so I'm just overlapping a little more on that one. But that's fine. And now, time for the shimmer. So what I did was, this one was a little different. So I put some shimmer right in the center of the largest flower, actually on the green paper, not actually on the die cut. And then on the leaf, I kind of went over a little bit next to the white lines. And I just put a thin brush kind of next to each of the lines. In this bottom right flower, I did brush over all of the outlines of the leaves like we've done in the past. And then I added it inside each of the petals, not over, like inside the white line. I did not paint over the white line. Just on the inside. I know you can't see the shimmer as much on the leaves, but hopefully you can see it on the flower. And then again, on this last leaf, I painted all the outlines. And I painted, like, just not over the whole flower, but over all the white areas. You know, like I was highlighting the white. And then, oh, just the three, like the three white lines on each um on each petal, not over the center of the flower, but you know, like I brushed over each petal over the white. Wonder if you can see it better on my card that is, yeah, I think you can see it a little better on the card that's dry. My you could see some of the areas are very, very sparkly. I had a lot of mica. I think that's what the sparkle is, a lot of mica coming out in some of those areas. This might have been the first card that I added extra the second coat to. So there's a lot of gold in some of those spots. So that's all the areas I added the gold to on that card. And didn't get rid of my foam tape backing there. And one last card. Hope you guys aren't too worn out. I guess even easy cards do take a while to put together, huh? I always want to give you more, but I don't want to wear you out either. All right, last card to score at 5.5 inches. This scrap paper has glue on it. Got to get that out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to shift this one up so I got room. Hello. So again, the brush side, although this color, which is a new color, it's pine. It's in the new catalog. The two sides, at least on the piece I have, don't look a whole lot different. Okay, so I'm going to center that on the card front. And then we've got our little honeycomb paper. And we're going to center that on the green rectangle. And then we're going to put on our two strips, and this is bronze shimmer trim, which is unfortunately discontinued. As we come to the end of the catalog cycle, some of the products are discontinued and no longer available. So while I'm trying to take this backing off, I want to tell you that wow, that does not want to come off. It's like in two strips. Mine is not particularly sticky. I think it's been around a while. So I'm actually going to I'm going to pull the backing off, but then I am going to add adhesive to it because I just want to make sure it sticks good. And then I'm putting the first strip 3/4 of an inch in from the edge of the honeycomb paper, from the left edge of the honeycomb paper. And I don't feel like I got mine on straight. I did not. Sometimes you use the ruler in it. If you're not confident about getting your paper on straight, what I would say is when you first put it on, your paper or anything with adhesive, um, don't push it down right away because you can see, okay, that's perfect. That's where I want it. Then burnish it down. And that really gives you the good stick. But if you don't burnish it down right away and you have to lift it up and move it, it's a lot easier if you haven't really secured that stick. And I am trimming off my top and bottom edges. And then my other piece I'm going to put, and I'm going to add adhesive to this too. Oh yeah, for some reason, I don't know if yours is, but like, it's got to be a defective roll because I have adhesive only on the very edge and there's no adhesive on the majority of the shimmer trim. That is very weird. I've never seen that before. I don't know if this was the end of the roll or what happened there. But I'm just going to put that a little less than 1/4 of an inch away from the first strip to the right. And trim, and trim that. All right, and this green piece is going to go on with foam tape. So now I can get back to what I was telling you. We are at the end of the catalog cycle, the yearly catalog. It expires at July 31st. The new one is live August 1st. There will be new products in the new one. Some of the products will carry over, other ones will not. But there are price increases on the products in the new catalog. So if there's anything that you want, you should order it because it might go away. You should order it because if it doesn't go away, it is going to be more expensive come August 1st. I'm talking cardstock. I mean, most of the products, shimmer pens, glitter paper, cardstock, ink, acrylic, blocks, albums, pages, the vast stickles, the vast majority of projects are increasing in costs, just like everywhere else. That's the supply chain right now. In addition, the shipping is increasing starting August 1st. So if there's anything that you want, get your orders in before August 1st. And of course, I can help you and answer any questions if you've got them. So this piece is just going into the center of that honeycomb. Yeah, I know, Lindsay. Oh, it's frustrating. It's understandable, but it is frustrating. Which of course means that some of the workshops I always, they're always based on the supplies I use. So the cost of some of the workshops might end up going up too because it costs me more to get the supplies, unfortunately. So I do apologize, but it's out of my control. All right, we're going to put these 2 strips on the inside. And this green one I'm going to put on the left side about 1/4 of an inch away from the fold line. And then we're going to put this honeycomb piece just to the right of that, but we're going to overlap it. And this one is shorter, so you're going to center it top to bottom. You're going to overlap about 1/8 of an inch. Overlap the green. All right, and now die cuts. Our last die cut hunt of the evening. All right. You would think the hello would be easy to find, but it still took me a minute. The hello is on the left side towards the bottom, right above the plaid area. Thank goodness they put the letters right next to each other. If they were scattered, not only would we not know what they said, but we'd have, it'd be really hard to find them, right? Finally put that away. All right, hello. And then we need another one of those skinny arrows, which there's one in the bottom right corner, very bottom right corner. And then we need our little asterisks, which are scattered all over the sheet. So let's see here. Okay, towards the middle here, to the left of the butterfly we took, there's 2 big ones. We want 1 big one. And then up here between those 2 flowers, there's one of the smaller ones. Okay, they shouldn't, oh, they're all here down at the bottom. So you want all 4 of these, right? 2, 3, well, no, only 3 of them. If you cut out the one from the center, you only need 3 of them from down here. So there's one that's smaller. That's the one that's closest to the V in the heart. So you want that, and then you want 2 of the other ones. And that should do it. All right. And these pieces are all going to get glued on flat. I think probably finding the die cuts and adding the glue, it took the longest in making these cards. Okay, so when we add these letters first, what we're going to do is we're actually going to start with one of the L's, because we are centering it in a space. So we want to start with the center of the word, and that is the L. So we're, see what I mean about pushing? I tell you, don't do it, and then I do it. Okay, flip. Press straight down to attach it. Okay, so we're going to put it centered top to bottom and centered left to right. And then you can go either way you feel comfortable. I'm going to go to the right first. And I'm going to add my second L. And you want about 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more. It doesn't matter a whole lot as long as you're consistent. So now you want to line up the bottom of the letters. And I've got a little more than 1/8 of an inch between the letters. You just don't want too much. Don't go 1/4 of an inch or it won't fit. and now the O. And basically, whatever space I put between those two L's, I want to use approximately that same space between the L and the O. And again, line the top and the bottom of the letters should line up. Now I can go back and do the E. At least the letters are pretty easy to add the glue onto. I wonder if hello's ever been a Wordle word. I don't know if you guys play Wordle, but I hate the when there's a double letter. I tell you, those are the hardest ones. And then last week there was a triple letter. Man. I keep telling my husband that they should have a different color for double letters words. I suppose they think that would make it too easy, but okay. So there we go. I'm going to put my my arrow on next. And I'm going to put it centered, the line of the arrow centered between in the space of the honeycomb paper. So the area that's just honeycomb paper, center it between there. And then I've got the head of the arrow just past the green rectangle. And now I can put down my asterisk. That hard word is, as a plural, is very hard to say. Does it pronounce different as a plural? We'll call them stars because it's getting late. My husband's laughing at me in the background. I don't know if you heard that. So the largest one I have there, right, really just at the center of the card there at the top. And then put the tiny one on. I don't think I've ever tried to say that word plural before, so. It does not want to stick. Doesn't want to come. Oh, I think I probably have more glue on my fingers at this point than I have on the little tiny piece. So I've got that in the top left corner there. And then the other three are all the medium size, and we're going to put one in the top right corner. Whoops. Again, it doesn't want to, if you can get it down there and press down, it will stick. Sometimes it's better if you don't futz with it as much. Like I said, I think it's just the glue on my fingers. And then when it's like when the glue is really, really wet, when you first put it down, it needs it needs to get a little tacky to get that sticking power. I'm putting this one in the bottom, kind of centered on the card. And then the last one will go on the left side. There we go. I was tempted to add more because I'm always tempted to add more, but I stopped myself. All right, and now we're going to add our shimmer, and I put shimmer on the stars and on the arrow. So again, you want to make sure that you don't have too much liquid coming out of your brush because they're tiny areas. Just press lightly, don't smush the brush down. And here, I'll show you. These are, oh, like I said on that other card, this there was a lot of mica coming out when I did the second coat on these. This one is really gold and sparkly. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed those. I finished samples of my next 2 card classes coming up. I will send an email out tomorrow, but I will show you a sneak preview tonight. So these are all they say thinking of you. If you didn't want them to say thinking of you, if you just want the blank space, I can do that for you too. And these are kind of I'm calling them thinking of you fancy folds because the folds are a little different from the ordinary folded card. So this it's a trifold, and as you can see, we've got lots of glitter, and the geometric paper has a metallic design on each of them. So that's the first one. We've got this one. I think they're fun. And they're pretty easy, despite they look a little more complicated. So that's one of the classes, and I did pick dates for them. And there'll be a deadline to sign up for them because some of these supplies are going away, so I have to get them, get the supplies before they disappear. Hopefully I can do that. This one will be on August 2nd. I want to give you some time before the cards, and this next one will be August 23rd. And the dates and the prices will all be in the email like usual. So this is Voices of the Sea, and it's going to do some ink blending, and you can buy the ink from me, or you can use your own ink. Either is fine, but we've got some fun sea creatures, and we'll also be doing some coloring in this one, coloring the image. I use colored pencils, but if you prefer markers, that works too. And this stamp set is let me get it for you. It is the July stamp of the month set. So although the class is going to be in August, if you wanted to buy one of these stamp sets for yourself, it has to be ordered in July. So if you're stacking up on supplies, it's a good chance. The cost is $18.95 full price, or if you buy $50 worth of other merchandise, not workshops, it's got to be product, then it's $5. So it's a pretty good deal. So if you really like those stamps, but you don't have to buy the stamps to take the workshop, because as usual, I will stamp the images for you, for the 4 cards if you take the workshop. So I will, so look out for that email. I'll repeat in that email, I'll also repeat the information about the catalogs, and let me know if you're interested. Thanks so much for hanging out, and I'm sorry about the issues, and I will send an email about that too with the new link in case you need to go back and review anything. So I will see you soon. Thanks.